What is up, YouTube? How are you doing this evening? How are we feeling tonight? Come on. Let me know what the energy is like right off the top. I'll let you know I'm having a good night, good evening. So hopefully y'all's is going well. It is Friday. You already know what it is. The weekend is upon us. Hopefully y'all had a good work week. Hopefully y'all did strong in your respected fields, in the careers that you've been pursuing and the goals you've been trying to reach. My goodness, June is almost up. We're going to be officially in July. By the end of next week, this year is flying, man. It's flying. For real. So, hey, man. Hopefully y'all having a good time while everybody is gathering in. Everybody's getting to their seats, grabbing their snacks, making themselves comfortable. Go ahead and give yourselves a round of applause. Come on. You deserve it. Hey, you got through the week, man. Anybody who's getting through the week deserves a round of applause. That's all I say. So go ahead and give yourselves one. Come on. Don't be shy. Clap for your neighbor. If you're watching this with somebody, give them a round of applause for being there with you. Right? Give them a round of applause for making it through the week. You know what I'm saying? It ain't easy out here. So I appreciate y'all joining in tonight's live stream. Let's go ahead and make ourselves known. Where is my big, beautiful face? Here it is. What's up, folks? How we doing tonight? It is De La Spurs coming to you for another edition of De La Spurs Live. It is June 26th. Like I said, next week we're going to be in July, man. This year is just going through it, man. We're going through it. We're about to hit the prime of the summer. So, like I said, hopefully y'all are doing well in your lives halfway through the year. Right? Just hitting the prime of the summer months as we're making our way through the 6th month of the year. It's Friday. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully y'all are enjoying your weekends and everything. I know I had a good day at work. Hopefully y'all had a good day at work, productive day at work. And I'm glad that at the end of a long, tough week at the office, at home, workshop, classroom, wherever you've been this week, I'm glad that you're spending it here with me. Whether you're watching this live or on the playback, I appreciate your views. Real quick, before we get into everything, I got to give y'all another round of applause. Come on. I just saw one of my videos has more than 100 views. I just hit 100 plus views on one of my videos, man. Come on. You know what I'm saying? I'm excited. I'm glad that y'all are enjoying the content. Y'all are fucking with the content. Please continue to do so. You know the best way to do that is to go ahead and like the live stream. Like this live stream. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's at De La Spurs, just like the name. Also that on X. You can follow me. Follow me on X as well. Listen, man, it's only going up from here. I'm so excited to live stream. I'm telling you, seeing triple digits for the first time in the viewer count means so much to me. So that just hyped me up even more to come do these live streams and everything. So I appreciate the love, appreciate anybody who's spreading and sharing the content around with family members, loved ones, classmates, coworkers, whatever it may be, man. I appreciate it. Let me know how you're feeling in the comments in the live chat. Anybody watching live, or if you're watching this on the playback, throw some comments. Let me know what you think about the content. Now that I hit triple digits, it's time to take it up another level. You know what I'm saying? You got to take it up. We can only go up from here, baby. We can only go up from here as well. We're trying to hit that 10 subscriber mark. Come on now. We are at 9 subscribers, trying to hit 10. We're close to our goal. So please go ahead and hit the subscribe button for me. I would appreciate it so much. Listen, we're going to get into everything. As you can see from the title of this live stream, we're going to be discussing what some of the changes at Tottenham look like and what does that even mean as far as seeing changes. Listen, we've heard from Charrington, we heard from Vinay, we heard from Lange, we heard from Enoch children, that change is a coming. Change is a coming here at Tottenham. And from what they were talking about and the statements they've made, this has been a necessary change. It's been a requirement for us to move forward as a club. But what does that look like? What is changing? Now, we've already seen with some of the signings, maybe we're going in a little bit of a different direction, especially with the Van Hecke signing. But I look at things like, Senesi, Robertson, those are free signings. You know what I'm saying? Those are free. That's easy work, And we'll be discussing a couple of more signings, some extensions as well that happened during this week. We're also going to be looking at the fan advisory board meeting, some notes from there, some interesting stuff I saw in there. So we're going to get into it. Oh, hold on. Let me get my banners right. So there is a fan advisory board meeting. What does that mean? I really don't know. I'm not sure how many fans are coming to talk or how many, higher ups are coming to talk with the fans. I don't know who's in that boardroom representing Tottenham fans, but they have this meeting to discuss what's been going on at the club and everything like that. Now, this meeting actually took place on the 16th of June. But I'm just now getting to the notes now. So I do apologize if you're already aware of this or if you've already gone and looked at the notes yourself. But I'm going to get through it now. Let's go ahead and pull this up here. Yes, sir. So first off, this kind of gives you a clarification. And this is from the Tottenham official website as well. All right. And as you can see here from the top, this is from a couple of days ago. This article came out on the website, but as you can see here, the meeting actually took place last week or 2 weeks ago. But just to give you some insight, the FAB Fan Advisory Board met on Tuesday at the training center, Hotspur Way, for the final meeting for the 25-26 season. So that sounds like it's going to be a recap of what they did like and didn't like this season. Going into it, supporter representatives engaged directly with senior club leadership, including non-executive chair member Peter Charrington and CEO Vinay Venkatesh, with discussions centered around the strategic direction of the club and supporters' concerns about the 25-26 season and the men's first team performances and results. Skipping along, recognizing the importance of the rebuilding of a connection with supporters, the club responded to questions about decisions taken this season, provided details about its ongoing rebuild. It's acknowledged that honesty, clarity, and visible progress are key elements of the rebuild to which the club is fully committed. See that? Key elements of the rebuild to which the club is fully committed. I'm going to put a pin on that and reiterated that football and performance are positioned at the heart of club decision making. So big statement there. All right. Coming in saying that this is going to be an honest discussion of what happened this season. Obviously, one of the worst seasons Tottenham has had in its history. One of the seasons, not the worst season, but one of the worst seasons that we've had in Tottenham history. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the minutes. This is going to be interesting. I think it's going to be interesting. So we got here, this is a document. It's just kind of going through who was there in some of the minutes. Give me a second while I zoom in on this. Now, I want to go ahead and get to where I was looking for. Here we go. All right, this is going to look a little strange, but here we go. You know what? Let me just make this a full page. Here we go. And then we're going to zoom in on this page. And then, hold up. Let's get rid of some of this nonsense and whatnot. How do I get rid of this? There we go. Boom. Here we go. All right. So, one of the things that I saw here, supporter sentiment and reflections on the 25-26 season. So these are the fan representatives. These are the supporters coming in and talking about the concerns they had with this season. Obviously, we have a lot of concerns, right? Finishing 17th is never good. We don't want to be in that position. We want to be challenging. Don't get me wrong, nobody thought the squad was going to be challenging for the Premier League when I say challenging, but we want to be a team that whenever somebody comes to the toxic toilet bowl, which is Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, they say, uh-oh, rut-row, Shaggy, we got to play Tottenham. So a lot of fans want a team that's competitive on all fronts. They want a team that plays a specific brand of football that is challenging, high intensity, good quality football, attacking football with the balance of defense or defending. This second point here in the meeting notes kind of goes over the supporter sentiment. So looking at this, you may already be reading ahead of me. The supporter representatives raised concerns about football performance up to and including the 25-26 season. It thanked PC Peter Charrington for his letter to the fans in response to the Tottenham Hotspur Trust and for his candor in acknowledging the previous football success has not been driving the club's decisions. Representatives stressed the need for the club also to acknowledge and take responsibility for the impact of football decisions made during the 25-26 season. So the fans are, and I think is fair, are going ahead and already putting out that, hey, the season wasn't good. They thank Peter Charrington for that letter. I don't know why. I thought that letter was a little bit BS, but hey, a lot more communication, you can say, than in previous years. Usually Daniel Levy only comes out and speaks about the season once the season is over. So Peter Charrington leaving that letter, it's not necessarily anything new, but obviously some of the sentiments that he has expressed was something that a lot of Tottenham Hotspur fans were hoping to hear from the higher-ups. And even though he's a non-executive member, seeing that these are his sentiments, these are his words, and I'm not sure how much he's spoken with the Enoch family before sending out that letter. The fans said they appreciated him in providing those words to us. Let's continue. Concerns covered leadership, accountability, football decision-making, recruitment, January transfer activity, long-term strategy, and football expertise within the senior leadership. These issues have also been raised with the club at previous meetings. So that's interesting that they're saying this is something they've been talking about. We're just now coming to this point because I think there is no room. The back is against the ownership. The wall is against the ownership's back, or their back is against the wall. Man, I fucked that up. But their back is against the wall. They couldn't hide in the fact that, oh, we did this during this season. We had some couple of good performances. Oh, but we bought these players. Look at the future. They couldn't run to any of that. 2 seasons, you finished 17th. One 17th place finish was worse than the other one. So not really anywhere to run, anywhere to hide. And listen, fans, in my opinion, have full right to go ahead and start blasting the board because of this. Continuing, representatives reference THST and Proud Lily White's consultation, noting exceptionally low supporter confidence and asking how to propose reset would be evidence in practice. Assurance was also sought through investment in the women's teams would continue. I really don't keep up with the women's team. No offense. Sorry, but don't really know a whole lot about what's going on with the women's team. But I'm sure I remember one season, and this was still under Daniel Levy, but I remember, I think this was after Conte was fired, that both the men's and the women's team finished that season with no manager. Both teams had no solid manager. They had interims in that place. So that gives you kind of an idea that it's not just the men's football team or the incompetences around, oh, it's so hard to win in the Premier League on the men's side. It's on both sides. Incompetence on both sides, men and women's team. And I'm sure there's fans of the women's team that were represented in this meeting and voiced their concerns that were probably more than likely similar to the ones that are the concerns or the fans, some of the concerns the fans had for the men's team as well. So probably a lot of mutual ground that they shared and trying to get some answers out of this meeting. It goes on to say Peter Charrington confirmed governance, decision-making, and operational structures have been reviewed and that all decisions would be judged by the metric, does this make us a better football team? Interesting. So Peter Charrington, even though he's a non-executive member, he's coming out and saying, listen, our decision-making is now going to be based, does this make us a better football team? Which, again, brings to light to what a lot of fans were saying. Some of the football decision-makings wasn't on behalf of making Tottenham Hotspur a better footballing team, but financial structure, making sure that we're not spending a lot of money. We're staying in the PSR range, right? I'm sure there's other things going on, like the hotel, F1 carding, securing these concert deals, and everything of that nature was going on. So I'm sure that a lot of the decisions that were being made didn't have put in the football team's performances and priority first. It came second or third or fourth and fifth. And I think the more and more Peter Charrington and Enoch come out and say, hey, this is how we're going to be making our decisions, proves that fact that their decision-making wasn't surrounded or wasn't centered on the thought of, does this make Tottenham Hotspur better? It also brings to light that Daniel Levy, he himself, even though he's come out and said, I love Tottenham, this is for the best of Tottenham, that he was part of that structure of making football decisions, not on the behalf of the men's first team or women's first team, but on the behalf of the shareholders and what they want. And I think, well, obviously that's a bad thought, but I just think it's very interesting that they're coming out now and saying that versus all the years they told us that, no, we were wrong. That's not true. We want what's best for the club. Now that you finished 17th twice, you almost get relegated. You're coming out now saying, yeah, well, actually, there were a couple of decisions where we weren't really thinking clearly. So I thought that was interesting. Representatives welcome an acknowledgement of supporter concerns, but stress that confidence would only be rebuilt through actions, visible progress, and improved football performance. Vinay Venkatesan, that's VV, agreed the season was unacceptable. It cannot happen again. And stated ambition is to compete for major trophies and play the style of football our supporters want to see. Interesting thing again. Compete for major trophies. Now, what does major trophies mean? Now, there's only 2 major trophies for a top 6 Premier League team, if you want to be brutally honest, and that's the Premier League and the Champions League. Those are the top major trophies. Now, the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup are important. Don't get me wrong, they're trophies, so they're always going to be important. It's history to win these things. We've had a history of winning these cups, the FA Cup as well. So, I mean, it's interesting that they still don't specify we're trying to win the Europa League. We're trying to win the Champions League. We're trying to win the Premier League. We want to win 2 or 3 Carabao Cups before we go for the Premier League. We want to go back to winning the FA Cup before we try to go for a Champions League or Premier League. It's still in this vagueness of major trophies, major awards. Well, what does that mean? Vinay continues. Vivi agreed, Vivi recognized fans' concerns from the 25-26 season and responded to the concerns that were raised regarding decisions taken during the season as set out later in these minutes. Vivi explained the club is where it is today due to issues built up over many years. And whilst he emphasized there was no quick fix, outlined that the progress was being made across multiple areas since September when the decision for major reform was taken. He explained this is not meant as a criticism of what has gone before, but simply an assessment of where we are in the scale of the changes or change needed. So again, Vinay has come out, and this isn't new to Vinay. Him going out and saying, hey, before I got here, this place was already pretty messed up. I'm just coming in here trying to do my best to fix up. So he's coming out again, maybe blaming Daniel Levy, maybe blaming Father Enoch, Papa Enoch, maybe Papa Smurf and Daniel Levy were the reasons why the footballing decisions weren't centered around making Tottenham Hotspur the best that it could be. Maybe it was something else in mind. He's just saying that him, Lange, and whoever else are just now coming in and trying to make everything right from what was going on before. To continue, and you can read these minutes as well in the website, so don't feel like you have to get this word from me. I'm just kind of going through the points that I saw that I thought were interesting. Football performance and priorities. Football and performance are now positioned at the center of decision making, which has led to numerous changes. This is interesting. This statement is interesting. I want you to put a big pin in this statement. Football and performance are now positioned at the center of decision making, which has led to numerous changes. An example being work is underway to reshape the first team environment in the training center, including a new player briefing, tactical room, a complete transformation to the gym, and changes to the players' restaurant, and making the building feel like a true performance environment. The closed season is the first window where changes of this scale can be commenced. Now, this is interesting because they talk about performances, and don't get me wrong, gym, tactical room, all this stuff can be a part of what helps the team perform well. But are they going to be talking about recruitment, the level of player that you bring in, the ruthlessness when you see that a player isn't working out? Do you get rid of them to bring in somebody new? Do you let their contract run out? As far as managers, what's the ethos here that you want to play? What type of managers are you going to be bringing in here, and so on and so on, so forth, right? I think it's very interesting. They bring up all these facilities and things like that. Listen, we were told that we have state-of-the-art facilities for years now. Now you're telling me that stuff is not good anymore. You need to make upgrades. I'm not sure about that, Chief. And if you're telling me you're going to waste more money, this is a newly built thing, right? This stadium's about what? It's not even a decade old yet. And you're saying that you're going to have to make improvements and changes to all these buildings? That doesn't really sound right to me, but I digress. If the players have complained about it and they feel like that's something that they can do to help improve the performances, they'll go for it. But to me, I'm not really buying that. You got a building that's less than a decade old, going in and making these changes to the gym and the player restaurant and making it feel like a true performance environment. I'm not sure about that, Chief. I'm not sure about that. You said you've already designed it to be that way, or when you designed this, you wanted to look like some blasé, high-tech corporate office building setting. So you already had that in mind before you built the building. And now you're trying to go back, 7-8 years into the building and say, well, wait a minute. We don't want it to run that way. We don't want it to look that way. We don't want it to feel this way. We want it to go back to a certain performance, football-y sort of environment. I don't buy it, if you ask me. I think that's just kind of a thing to throw out. Maybe that will appease some fans. Maybe that will appease the shareholders. But like I said, maybe the players have complained about it, and this is to appease some of the players. Continuing, the academy has significant transformation over the past couple of years, but since the autumn, significant further investment has been made available to strengthen talent pipeline as key priority across all age groups, while acknowledging that outcomes would take time to become visible. This is interesting as well, because as much as they said they're investing into the academy, how many players from the academy are we actually trying to integrate into the first team? That's the question. I don't think it's necessary. You can say maybe the academy recruitment isn't been good enough. That's why we haven't been bringing young players into the first team, because maybe they're not good enough. But are we actually structuring the club to bring in that academy talent, or are we waiting for a Lamine Yamal? Are we waiting for a Pedri, a Kylian Mbappe to come down the line? Are we waiting for a Galactico to come in to bring into the first squad? You can't wait on stuff like that. You got to be able to take chances on children, and to do that, you got to provide them with the opportunity to perform on that stage, and that's something that Tottenham has not done well, if not at all, over the last 3 to 4 years. Part of that is hiring and firing managers, right? Also, part of that is that you're sending players out on loan, or academy players out on loan, and you're buying young players to fill in those squad spots that they could be introduced to, that they could be pushed into as a platform to the first team. So as much as they want to say, well, we're going to put more money in to get better talent, why don't you allow the talent that's actually here and provide them with that platform in being in the first team? Continuing on in July, global search for a new performance director started with Dan, appointed in October. He joined in February following his notice period and has reviewed medical and performance operations. This had led to a significant number of personnel changes since the season concluded. The first opportunity to practically be able to make changes of this scale. Really don't care about that part. Men's squad requires changes over several transfer windows with an emphasis, quality leadership, youth experience, and alignment with how the club wants to play football. Lastly, player trading must improve, including adjustment to our wage structure, including deals more efficiently and driving greater sales revenues given financial regulations. The sale of Brendan Johnson was highlighted as an example of this. Rafi Morrison was appointed last year to improve our focus and capabilities on this area, and he joined on June 16th after his notice period. So this guy that we brought in, Rafi Morrison, is being brought in now. Are we going to see, with what they said, player trading must improve, are we going to see that improvement? Now, you've seen that kind of on the buying end with Senesi, Robertson. We're in for Tenali. We're in for Mateus Fernandez. We're trying to, we're now looking like we're interested in Marmouche or Cody Gakpo. We're trying to bring in the players. You're still interested in Savino. But what about on the back end, right? The selling piece of it. Bergvall wants to leave. Vuskovic wants to leave. Christian Romero, as much as he's saying he wants to stay now, or stories coming out about him wanting to stay, he wanted to leave at some point, right? We got players like Manor Solomon, Matisse Tell, Archie Gray, Wilson Odebear, these players that haven't really locked down a position. Pape Sarr as well. We have these players that haven't really locked down a position in the 2 or 3 years that they've been here. And when it came down to it, when we were in a dogfight, these players weren't featured. These players weren't on the field. So what does that mean for Tottenham? Are we going to now be ruthless and say, hey, Pape Sarr, you're not fitting into the 8, you're not fitting into the 6, you're not fitting into this midfield position. It's time for you to go. Bergvall, you want more playing time? You're not going to get it here, buddy. Sorry. Beat it. Right? Archie Gray, we're going to put you out on loan. You're still a young kid, right? Still looks like you don't really know what you're doing, that you're out there running around like a lost little boy looking for their parents at a train station or at a Walmart. So we're going to put you out on loan. We want you to be the man wherever you go out. You know what I'm saying? Batiste Tell, Wilson Odebear, right? These guys are, what, 21, 22, right? Hey, man, if y'all aren't cutting it, if y'all are not cutting it now, you're not going to be cutting it later. You feel me? You're not going to be cutting it later. We got academy products your age that we can bring in. There's better players, better wingers that are your age, if not just slightly older, that are better than you. Hey, man, what are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? We need to start being more ruthless in that fact instead of just keeping players and hoarding players. Oh, because they love the club, we got to keep them. We got to embrace them. No. If this player's not working, we get rid of him. If he's not good enough, we get rid of him. If he wants more playing time, get rid of him. You know what I'm saying? This goes through more things: leadership, governance, and culture, as well as strengthening through senior appointments in football performance, operations, off-pitch senior hires have been made in communications, marketing, and restructured commercial operations. VV or VNI highlighted a revised governance structure, including a clear separation between chair and CEO roles and a board with more non-executive than executive representation. This is intended to provide the right level of checks and balances whilst allowing us to move quickly. Going to that, an executive team is now responsible for the day-to-day operations. The desired cultural shift is towards empowerment of talented staff across the club, prioritizing football performance and rebuilding connection with supporters with recognition that cultural changes take time, or takes time. So he's saying that they're trying to change stuff upstairs so that it affects things that are going on downstairs. You know what I'm saying? You got to play with the upstairs a little bit. Hold on. Wait, hold on. Wait, hold up. Hold up. Wait, no, stick with me now. Stick with me. You got to play with the upstairs. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You got to play with the upstairs to get the downstairs going. You know what I'm saying? That's what he's saying. Supporters, and this is the last section we'll go over. Vin and I discuss the importance of rebuilding a connection with supporters and the challenges created by misinformation, which could impact and trust belief or impact trust and belief. He explained a few examples. Roberto joined because he believes in what we can do together as a team. He had no retention bonuses. He has never asked for control over any decision making, and he was completely committed to the club if we were relegated. Johan played a critical role in his appointment. Roberto was always the number one choice, and we are delighted with the impact he has made so far. This is interesting because I remember after we got rid of Tudor, we were in search for a manager. Even though Roberto was on the list, we had what's his name? Adolf Hutter, right? We were looking after we got rid of Tudor. So we also made offers to De Zerbi at that time that he turned down. So I think it's interesting that they said, well, listen, he came to us, one, with no retention bonuses, two, with no intention of having any decision-making power. This is also very interesting to me. Because what do you mean Roberto De Zerbi came in and said he didn't ask for control over the decision-making? I would think as a club, even at that time, you're desperate, right? You're desperate on staying in the Premier League or being relegated. And when you bring the manager in to this desperate situation, into this sinking ship, and you still look them in the eye and say, well, we're not going to give you any additional money as well. Apparently, he didn't ask for any decision-making power. That's something I really, really don't believe. I really don't believe. You cannot tell me that Roberto De Zerbi doesn't have any decision, especially after we're looking at players like Van Heck. We were looking at Verbruggen at one time, right? I'm sure there's going to be other former players of De Zerbi that we're going to be looking at. And you're telling me that he doesn't have any influence on that? He doesn't have any say on that? I personally don't believe it. Now, I think the way that they worded it is interesting because they said Roberto De Zerbi never asked. He never asked to have that decision-making power. But you cannot tell me that he doesn't have any sort of say or sway in the decisions that are being made here at the club, especially bringing players in. He would have to. He would have to. And then regarding the retentions and bonuses, I mean, listen, we're paying the dude a lot of money. So maybe that is true. Maybe he said maybe there wasn't any bonuses for keeping them up in the Premier League. But boy, that bonus was to get him into the club in the first place. You know what I'm saying? I think that just to make sure he walked in through the door. So I don't know, a little weird statements for me. I'm not sure necessarily how much I believe that, but they said that this meeting was supposed to be honest and an open discussion. So we're going to get to the last point here on sporting directors. Vinay said the club has confidence in our people, but if we find someone who can complement our existing team and make it better, we will do that at the right time. And in a summer window is not that time. Big statement there. So no sporting director changes during this summer window. No sporting director changes in this summer window. I don't know when they're planning on trying to get another sporting director. I don't know when that is going to come in. But no change in the sporting director. We're not looking for a new sporting director. Now, I thought this was interesting because we were looking at that dude in Germany. I think he was like with Dortmund, right? He rejected us ultimately, but he was at the top of the list for sporting director change, right? There was rumors coming out at the end of this season. Not only, well, I think Vinay was safe. Word came out that Vinay was safe, but Johan Lange was sitting on the hot seat. They didn't know if this guy actually had what it took to lead Tottenham into the future. Not keep Tottenham where we are, not just keep us afloat, not just make sure that we don't finish in 17th every season, but push Tottenham forward, help Tottenham take the next step. And he was in the hot seat. As you can see here, as we go down, decisions taken last season. Um, some of these, or some, and most of these decisions were by the hand of Johan Lange. Let's look at these. And I know I said the last one was the last one, but I want to get to this. So we're going to hit this real quick, and then that will be the end of us looking at these minutes. In response to questions from supporters, representatives, Vinai explained decisions taken last season on Thomas Frank, Igor Tudor in the January transfer window, outlining the factors considered in the approaches taken. Vinai accepts that rebuilding trust requires honesty, clarity, visible progress over time to which the club is fully committed. Again, a lot of vague words when it comes to progress over time. What is the timetable, right? If you trust your sporting director, Johan Lange, you say you already got a good team, why are there still these vague goals and timetables that you have set up for where you want Tottenham to go? Now, I get it. Running a Premier League club isn't easy at all, but you're sitting here saying, oh, it's going to take time to rebuild. Well, no shit, it's going to take time. We know it's going to take time. You don't go from 17th to winning the Premier League. That never happens. But you're telling me you don't have a timetable. Next season, we top 10. Easily. Come out and say that. Next season, we got to finish in top 10. Season after that, we got to finish in the top 6. We got to get in some European competition. You can set up little benchmarks like that, little timetables like that to help you build, but we just keep hearing over time. You know, it's going to take over time. It's going to take time. Well, let us know what time you're looking at. What are you seeing on your watch, Vinai, when you're saying that this club is moving in the right direction? It's going to and it's going to take time to see the progress. What does that look like? Tell us, what do you see Tottenham going? What do you see us doing next season? We keep hearing over time, progress over time, improvement over time. What are we going to see next season? Lay out a table with some tangible goals that we can hit. Again, like I said, tell us you're going to finish in the top 10 next season. Flat out. That's the bottom. That's the floor. 10th. Anything above that, that was our goal, is to finish in the top 10. So if we finish top 6, top 4, top 2, that's great. But we set up this team. We bought the players. We gave Roberto De Zerbi the runway and the platform so to make sure that he finishes in the top 10. And then the next season, right? Got to finish in the top 6. We finish in the top 10. We got to continue to build from here. So regardless of how many players we sold, players we brought back in, injuries, all that stuff, top 6 is next. Like, put those actual tangible goals on the timeline so the fans have something to look to, ultimately something to hold this board accountable for. Because just saying that visible progress over time, there's no accountability in that. There's no accountability in that. I mean, I'm sorry, but that doesn't show any accountability, right? If you fail, if you're in school, right? Let's take a moment, right? If you're in school, right, and you tell your teachers you're failing like 3 or 4 classes, you're not attending class, you're goofing around with your friends in the back of the classroom causing a ruckus, and your teachers come in and say, hey, you're not going to graduate. We know you're a junior right now, not into your senior year, but you're a junior right now, but you're not on any sort of pace to graduate next year. Well, listen, teacher, I'm sorry. Principal, I'm sorry for my behavior. Listen, rebuilding the trust between us, rebuilding requires honesty, clarity, and a visible progress over time. And I'm fully committed to make that. That sounds nice to tell your teachers, but your teacher's like, hey, show up to my classroom. How many classes are you going to take? Yeah, how many tests are you going to pass? The teachers you need to get this grade, this grade, this grade, and this grade to graduate. You need this many credits to graduate next semester or next year. They have that. They would have that accountability for you. They would have that table set up for you. And it can be the same way at Tottenham, regardless if you're talking about the players, the manager, board members, you're talking about staff, coaching staff, you're talking about the medical team, whatever it may be. Put those tables in place. Yeah, I get it. You're looking over the medical team. Yeah, the coaching staff are doing some changes. the structure and everything like that. Finish in top 10. Do whatever you can to finish in the top 10 next season. That's how you do it. Finish in the top 10, then finish in top 6 season after that. Then finish in top 4. And in those 3 years, you build a squad that's competing for the Premier League. Now, I'm not saying it's going to turn out that way, but set those goals. Put that down so you know where you need to go and what you need to do to achieve it. But putting this vague over time, there's going to be visible progress and there's going to be more honesty and clarity between us. That doesn't mean shit. It doesn't mean anything. Going back to this to wrap it up, supporters should expect the rebuild to take more than one appointment, decision, or transfer window, whilst recognizing the importance of this summer's window in particular. Significant work around the rebuild of the club has already begun. If not, all changes are immediately visible. So he kind of contradicts himself and says, all right, changes are going to take time, and those visible changes are going to take time, however much time that is. We don't know, but it will take time. And then he comes around and say, well, hey, we already made changes and those are already visible now. Well, one of the big changes you can make that'd be very visible is a new fucking sporting director. I would say that's the big key to this, right? You had a sporting director that pretty much failed last season, All right. It took us to the very last game, the last minutes of the last game of the season to not be relegated. So that sporting director failed in whatever he was trying to do that season, regardless of the injuries, the manager, coaching staff, medical team. That sporting director failed. He failed. Like that's it. He failed. So I mean, getting in a new sporting director would obviously be one of the biggest visible changes you can make. And yes, you don't know what that sporting director, how well they're going to do in their first season, but sitting there and keeping the same people that made the decisions that put us here in the first place, and saying, not only do we have trust in them, but we're going to continue to grow with them. We may add 1 or 2 people here or there, but we're going to continue to go with this team. Oh, but just remember, folks, don't expect anything to happen immediately. But things have happened immediately, and there are changes that are being made. You see how this is kind of getting all over the place? Yeah. And last point, sitting for work around the rebuild of the club has already been. Oh, wait, I already read that. Support, input, and constructive challenge were welcome as part of the journey forward. So I say all of that because an interesting thing I saw on Twitter, I'm about to pull this up now, with no new sporting director coming in, right? What does that mean for why aren't you looking for a sporting director after we had such a bad season? Why haven't you? Now, we were looking for one. He rejected us. Was he the only one in mind? Is he the only person you were looking for? Was that the only person that was going to be able to come in and change Tottenham? I found that interesting because out of this FAB meeting, I see tweets and posts being made like this. This is from the Hotspur lane. There is an acceptance. There's an acceptance that Tottenham, or acceptance at Tottenham, that not signing reinforcements in January was a mistake. Those in power at the club didn't foresee how bad the season would play out and how alarmingly the club would slide towards relegation. So again, I find this interesting because it doesn't take a sporting director getting paid millions of dollars, having years of experience in the Premier League or being a sporting director, to see that Tottenham were falling down the table, going to get relegated. I mean, I don't know where we were in the table at the time in January, but we just fired our manager in January. We decided not to buy anybody in January. We still had holes in the team that we didn't fill. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Bruh.
Holes weren't being filled, folks. We weren't filling holes. There was holes sitting right there for us, holes waiting for us to fill. We weren't doing any of it. Golly. those in power of the club didn't foresee how bad the season would play out. They didn't see it. We as fans saw it. That's why we were freaking out. But yet the people who are making the decisions didn't see it. Does that not spell out incompetence for you in the biggest way possible? Like that's insane to me. They didn't see that this would happen. Are you out of your mind? That's crazy. And then to top it all off, again, and this is another post for the Hotspur Lane reporting on this meeting. Van Eyck revealed the recent FAB meeting, not looking for a new sporting director. So this just covers what we were just talking about. They're not looking for anybody new. But if you just look at this, how can you say you're not looking for anybody new? And then this, tell me how this makes sense. This doesn't make any sense. It doesn't. It's baffling to me. How are you going to sit here and say, oh, well, we didn't know how bad the people we have that we trust didn't see how bad things were. And literally to the last minute, the last game, and the last minutes of the season, we were unsure of what our future is. But hey, moving forward, we're not looking for anybody new, right? We're not looking for anybody new. We completely trust who we have making the decisions at this time. And guess what? This summer window, even though it's so important, right, to get things right this summer, we're not looking to do anything this summer. You just brought in your new manager that just saved your team. Again, even though he says he doesn't want any decision-making power, he doesn't want any additional bonuses, he doesn't want anything else other than just to be a manager at Tottenham. That's how much he respects the club or loves the club. And that's how much he respects Vinay and Lange and all these people, is that he just wanted to come in and be on the train. He didn't want to be the leader. He didn't want to be the caboose. He didn't want to yell all aboard to everybody. He was just looking for a spot on the train. He was just looking for a seat. That's how great everything is here at the club. Are you kidding me? How dumb do they think the fans are? How dumb do they think we are? And honestly, fans, Tottenham fans, tell me. You can put this in the comments below. Are we going to fall for this again? Are we falling for this again? Not changing anybody in the sporting director, after the sporting director literally just blindly walked us into a relegation fight. We're not going to get rid of him. And this guy's going to be in charge of rebuilding the squad that finished 17th. After he was already in charge of rebuilding a squad that finished 17th. So really, Tottenham fans, are we falling for this again? Are we falling for this again? Put this in the chat below. Put in the live chat or in the playback if you're watching this on the playback. Are we falling for this crap once again? We shouldn't be. We've seen this happen year after 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 year again. And we're going into this next season doing the same shit. Are we falling for this? Are we? I'm not. And that's what leads me to the next one. We're going to get into these next few topics, talk about a couple of signings, and then we're done. But with that, I see things like this. And Antonin Kinski reaches a full agreement with Tottenham Hotspur to sign a new contract. The Czechia goalkeeper will be here until 2031 with the 5+1 year deal. He's looking to try to get a starting spot for his Czechia team and also secure the #1 spot. Now, this is a goalkeeper that absolutely shit the bed in a Champions League game. Probably one of the worst, performances I've seen from a goalkeeper in some time. Like he was done. Or I shouldn't say he was done, but he got cooked in that game. Stinker and hooked. We are now coming in and signing this player to a new deal. Does that make sense? Nah, not to me it does. Especially saying that we're going to make this dude the #1. Now, when he came back, after we changed the manager, we bring in Roberto De Zerbi. I imagine Roberto De Zerbi had some talks with the lad, especially with Vicario being injured at the time, saying, hey, man, we don't have anybody else except for you. I don't trust whatever third choice or fourth choice we have. Only got you, man. I need you to come in and I need you to stand strong. I know you failed. I know you did this in the Champions League. We're out of the Champions League now. Forget about that. Yeah, we're not. Don't worry. We're not going to be in the Champions League for some time now. So don't worry about that. Focus on what I need you for the next 6 games to lock in, right? So I'm sure there are some talks between Roberto De Zerbi and Kinski, and I'm sure Kinski started smelling himself again, found his confidence. And listen, not to be too much of an asshole, but he did perform well he did have solid performances in the 6 games. Yes, they weren't perfect performances, but he made some key saves, kept us in games, made some important saves that ultimately led to us staying in the Premier League. But you are now turning around and making this guy your number 1. You're trying to make him number 1. You're trying to get rid of Vicario, I don't even necessarily think is the best goalkeeper in the world either. But you're saying you'd rather trust this kid who fell flat on his face, like dead flat on his face in the Champions League game, probably one of the biggest performances he's ever had. He fell flat on his face, and now you're saying we're going to trust him moving forward because he had some good performances in the last 6 games, so we didn't get relegated? I'm not sure about that decision. And guess what? Even though you see in this picture here, Roberto De Zerbi's all hugged up against him, according to Vinay, according to Lange, Roberto De Zerbi, necessarily wouldn't have any say or power in this decision to re-sign the player. That was all up to Vinay, Lange, or whoever else. So Kinski agrees a new deal. We also have some word and some movement on a backup. Where is this at? Oh, wait, that's right. Where is it? Hold on, folks. Stay with me here. Stay with me. We also see this. I got his head cut off. Martin Dubravka. And this came out. This is from the Tottenham Hotspur website. This came out a couple of days ago. But Martin Dubravka, signed Slovakian international goalkeeper, will join us following July 1st, following the expiration of his contract with Burnley, a team that was relegated. Martin says, an exciting time for me, a new journey, new experience for me and my family. Looking forward to it. Everything's moving pretty quickly, and I'm really happy to be here. Love watching Roberto's team over the years. Know all about his style, vision, the fantastic fans. Here, Tottenham Hotspur is one of the biggest clubs in the Premier League, yada, 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 yada. Johan Lange, the guy that, again, couldn't see that we were going to get relegated, was like, I had no idea that when you only have 12 players to field in the last, 10 to 15 games left of the season, that your team could potentially get relegated. That guy, that beautiful genius, said, we are delighted to welcome Martin to the club. He's a goalkeeper of proven quality at the highest level, and his character and professionalism will strengthen the squad. Martin brings experience, leadership, and consistency, and aligns perfectly with what we are building here. This old goalkeeper aligns with what we're building here. Now, Roberto De Zerbi has also come out. I'm very happy because Martin is a goalkeeper with big experience, strong mentality. He's very important qualities for me and will bring balance, leadership, and competitiveness to our dressing room. Now, this actually goes over his career. Now, third-generation goalkeeper, just talking about his family. Over the years, Sparta Prague, came in the Premier League in 2018 with Newcastle. Just going over his history, following a short loan spell with Manchester United. Got a Carabao Cup. I don't know if he actually played in anything. 2 months later, he was again a Carabao Cup winner as the Northeast ended up 70-year wait. So when he went back to Newcastle, He was with them. 60 caps with Slovakia. I don't think they said his age. They don't mention his age in this article, but I'm pretty sure this dude is well into his 30s. So you're talking about having a 23-year-old kid, a mid 30s goalkeeper. Both of them signed same week, all led by this man, Johan Lange. So to me, again, we just had this guy, didn't really know what he was doing last season, but we're trusting him to do this again. He signed Martin Dubravka, right? We still have where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Right? We still got these two fellas that have yet to come in as well. You know what I'm saying? So are we really going to trust Johan Lange with rebuilding this squad? Are we really going to trust him to do the right things? Now, we're in for Tonali. We're in for Mateus Fernandez. And yes, those are great names. Better than what we have currently at the club. But again, you don't lay any goals out. And this is ultimately my point, and we'll end on this, right? You have Vinay that's coming out and saying, listen, there's no timetable that we have set. Progress and everything just takes time. It takes visual cues, whatever, to see that there's changes being made. But he also comes out and saying changes are being made right now. Obviously, signing Senesi and Robertson and thinking about getting rid of Bergvall and Pape Sarr. Those are changes that are happening right now. But when you're talking about building towards something in the future, this guy already failed at trying to get a team from 17th, and he finished 17th again. He finished 17th twice. And we're letting this guy try to rebuild this squad again. I don't trust it. I'm sorry. And I know that some fans may not that. To be quite honest, I don't think that he should be leading this. And Vinay has come out and said, listen, he's our guy. We're trusting him. We're not looking for a new sporting director. Tottenham fans, let me know. We'll end on this because I've been going for about an hour. Let me know. Again, are we falling for it? Are we falling for it? This is the question I want you guys. Changes being made that we think that are good, that are healthy, or is this just another installment of the circus that is here at Spurs? Because now we got a 30-year-old keeper. We're signing our backup from last season. We technically haven't even sold our main goalkeeper or first choice goalkeeper in Vicario, right? We're signing Senesi. We're signing Robertson. That's great. But we got Souza who's here. What's he going to do, right? What's going to happen with Souza? We still have Udogi. Are we going to get rid of Udogi? I'm sure Udogi's probably going to keep it. So we got three people on the right, Pedro Porro, Jed Spence out on the left. You're signing Marco Senesi, but are we going to get rid of Dragusin? Does Romero want to leave? And if he does, it's just signing Marco Senesi and Van Heck. Is that the replacements that we actually need? Is that what we need going forward? Now, again, these are better players than what we had before. I'm not going to argue that at all. But if you're talking about actually saying we're building a squad, again, with actual tangible markers, we're building a squad to at least get us into the top 10 next season. So from there, we can propel ourselves into getting into top 6 the season after to get into Europe. And then from there, we're challenging for top 4, challenging for the Premier League, challenging for Champions League, whatever it may be. But if you're not putting down those markers, you're letting this guy who failed last season to get us out of 17th from an already 17th place team, we're giving him another shot at it. What? Are we actually changing what's happening here at Tottenham? Or are we just recycling? We're going through another cycle of buying a whole bunch of players, bringing them in, hyping them up, And then when it starts to fall apart, we see that, wait a minute, there's no plan. There's no plan. Andy Robertson, he's already old. He's going to really give us what? Maybe 2 to 3 years left of his career, if that. If he doesn't get hurt, which here at Tottenham, we have a great history of getting players hurt for whatever reason, but he already got an old player in Robertson coming in, old goalkeeper coming in. Marco Senesi, I think he's late 20s. You have Van Heck, Romero, Dragusin still here. Like, what is the plan for building the squad? What is the plan? Robertson's not going to be here for long. Matisse Tell, you look at the attack as well. Matisse Tell, Odegaard, yes, they're young, but they're not good. And right now, there's nothing showing that they're getting any better as they get older. That's just the facts. But looking at that midfield, Pape Sarr, Bergvall, Archie Gray, these players that are, again, just out on the fringes of these positions. When it came down to the dogfight at the end of the season, Roberto De Zerbi looked past those guys and looked for somebody else. But yet, here we are planning to keep these players. We signed them to an extension. Are we going to give them more time? I just want fans to think about it. Are we falling for this again? Are we falling for the same tricks? Are we actually bringing in better players? Are we actually bringing in and trying to progress this team? Or are we just recycling? Are we just recycling? Do we know that some of the players have been here long enough? They've seen enough BS, and they're not going to fall for it again. So we got to bring in some new people to lie to. We got to bring in some more people to lie to and everything like that. Or are we actually building something? Because right now there's no goals. We have no goals. There's nothing tangible set. So when we're building this squad, yes, we're getting players who are better than what we had before. But what does that mean as far as actually moving forward? You can get better players, but still achieve the same results if you don't have a plan. So want fans to think on that over the weekend. Just ponder on that as more news comes out, and even throughout the whole summer as well, as we're signing players, selling players. Just think about that. We're keeping everybody that we had for the last 2 seasons that sucked ass. All right? They sucked ass the last 2 seasons. They're supposedly coming in and bringing in this new way, this new version, the rebirth of Tottenham, these changes that are coming, not coming yet, but have already happened. But they're going to take time for you to see, but just know that they're already happening right now, and you could probably already see it right now. But don't look at everything that you're seeing right now, because that's not the exact timetable that we're setting. We're saying that's going to be long ahead in the future. We don't know when in the future, so don't ask about that. Just look towards now. Like, do you not see this kind of circusy mess that we've been experiencing for the last couple years at Tottenham happening again? So just think about that. Think about that during the summer. All right, we're going to end that here, folks. Listen, I appreciate everybody for joining in on this live stream, whether you're watching this live, you came in for a couple of seconds scrolling through YouTube, looking for something to do on a Friday night, or you're bored, you don't know what to listen to while you're driving to work, you're at lunch, sitting in the office, doing some work, hanging out with your friends, something to play in the background while you're cleaning. I appreciate everybody taking the time to watch these videos, listening to what I have to say. And if you want to have your say on this, first of all, comments are wide open. Live chat's wide open. Don't be afraid to put something in the live chat, folks. I want to see what you guys are talking about. Also, put what you guys think in the playback chat as well. I mean, in the comments as well. Let me know what you think of the content, what you want me to talk about. You want to see me talk about specific things, specific signings, things going on at the club, some stories that you've been following, or if you just want to tell me to fuck off, you can do that too. Perfectly fine. But listen, I appreciate everybody watching this video. I appreciate everybody taking the time to like and subscribe. Like this live stream, subscribe to the YouTube, follow me on X as well, at De La Spurs on all of those platforms. Listen, man, I'm going to go ahead. What time is it now? It's about 8:10. I think there's a World Cup match going on, so I'm going to go ahead and click that on. I suggest you guys do the same. Enjoy this beautiful game that's been happening around the world, the world's game in the biggest tournament I encourage everybody to take a look at just a couple of some World Cup games. If you're not the biggest soccer fan, again, I'm here located in America. We're not necessarily the biggest fans of the sport, but as you can see, with an event like this, in the world stage, it's a beautiful thing to watch. So I encourage everybody to take some time to watch it. Right, I'll be back. Don't worry. Don't worry about that, folks. I'm gonna be back. All right, that's let's just make that apparent. I'm gonna be back. All right. So yeah. Thank you so much for watching this live stream. We'll be back for another edition of De La Spurs Live on Monday. I think that's June 29th. I think that's June 29th. We'll be back for another edition of De La Spurs on Monday night. But until then, have a good night. Come on, you Spurs.